born and raised in Putnam Valley, New York. Well, I was born in Peekskill, New York, but I moved to Putnam Valley when I was 10. It's nothing like the city. Like, every time I tell people I'm from New York, they always assume I'm from the city, and they're like, oh, why would you come to Alabama? That's the first thing I get asked. And it wasn't really like that where I was from. It was a town of 10,000 kids, and my graduating class was like 150. So it was a real small place where everybody kind of knew each other. I've been writing, ever since I got my first CDs, like as a kid. Like, I got D12 World was my first hip hop CD when I was like 8, and that was back before I even knew that Eminem was in that group, and before I knew who Eminem was. So like I just listened to the CD and I was like, wow, this guy's good. And then like 5 years later, I was like, oh, that was that guy. Oh, all right. So, but no, I've been working on music for a long time, and then I've always written. And then whenever I met up with my neighbors, when we started like getting more serious about music. But it wasn't until I got here that I started like recording music and putting music out. What has the Mobile music scene not provided for me? I hadn't done a show. I hadn't really released any music before I got here. So then I linked up with a good buddy of mine, Dalton Muse, or Cosmos from Future Astronaut. Linking up with him and then going over to Dolphin Street Sound, recording my first, tracks, and then them telling me that I was for sure going to get a show just based on my content, and then getting a show and getting a few shows, and it was like, it has totally rewired my brain into how I kind of approach this thing, just making music in general, and it's like rewired my thought process, and it's like, okay, well, enough of what's possible, more of what's next. What motivates me is just like the effect that music has in general. I think you get picked up by the people around you. So I'd say for me it was more about the people immediate in my life and like my friendships and my family that motivated me to keep going, as opposed to looking up to like an idol. It was more like just that kind of peer support around that environment of just like performing and wanting to perform, and then it just kind of meshed well with what I was good at. So that's kind of like what kept me working at it, was just being good at it and seeing myself get better. I just wanted to do this thing, and a lot of people were supporting me doing that thing, So no one's ever really shot me down and been like, this is bad, or you're not good at this, or something like that. So just that in and of itself is motivation.
This book. I doubt if there's hardly
You just got turning right or you going straight, man? I don't know.
True understanding.
Oh,
When I go and I perform shows and I meet the different artists and I network with those guys, really so far it's just been all love, and they're a really cool group of people to meet. That's why I love going to every show, and it's like I try to make it out to the shows that I'm not on just to see who's performing and just to meet these guys, because a lot of them are really cool guys and girls that have put a lot into it. So I've met a lot of people that make me want to do better, if that makes sense. Just kind of people that motivate you to just be better, because you feel more comfortable being around certain people, and like everyone I've met I'm relatively comfortable around, so it just makes me want to keep going.
Cool. Yeah, you know the drill. Just run through it. I'm gonna set some levels on my end.
Okay, cool. Where do I see music taking me? I guess it's not like where it's going to take me as opposed to what it lets me accomplish, because my parents always took us to like local festivals and stuff like that, so music has always been a part of my life, and like being on stage performing has always been something I've been interested in. You can do so much in hip hop, I feel like, and you can take it in so many different directions, and you can just do so much with the genre in general. I feel like it's one of the easier genres to just be yourself in, as opposed to putting out a product that people are expecting to hear. I feel like hip hop, you have a little bit more of a free reign, and you can more just like put the flavor of you into your music. Plus, I love the attitude that comes with performing hip hop, and I just love the culture behind it. Like, it makes you feel really good, and it brings people together, unlike any genre I've seen. So you never know who you're gonna see there. Sounds meant a lot, only because it's the first festival I've done. So you know, to someone who wasn't playing shows a year and a half ago, to now being booked in, you know, local festivals, and just it's just another big step forward for me and for what I can do for the hip hop scene in general. You know, everybody has a need to create, whether it's like to heal your soul or to just like let stuff out, let things out. And I feel like music is one of those things that you can just let it fly off the handle. In my experience, like, you can make any song for any feeling, for any emotion that you're feeling, and with hip hop, it's like I can find a sound that I really like and, you know, run with it and make a song that really portrays a certain emotion that I'm feeling. It's almost like just a really good form of therapy, in the sense of not music taking me anywhere other than to that like peaceful state of mind. So that's kind of what I use music for, is that distraction from your everyday BS. And that's why I try to make music that hits a lot of different bases. I don't try to just do hype tracks. I don't try to just, you know, talk about exes or whatever. You know, I try to hit something where a lot of different people can relate to. My biggest motivators really were my parents growing up, like I touched on before. Because my parents never told me I couldn't, you know, go one way or the other. They always let me do what I wanted, as long as I wanted to do it. And then shortly after I released my first tape, my mother passed away, and that was July of 2017. And it's like she never got to hear anything I made. She never heard one song that I made. That hurt my creative process for a while, because that was the first time where I felt like, you know, one day you can run out of people to appreciate what you make, and that's a really bad feeling to have. So, I guess just to anyone that's out there, you know, in a rut, it's like if you have something that you haven't accomplished or you haven't completed, you know, just do it, because it's like you never know who's not going to be there to appreciate what you've done. So that's just been one tough thing for me to swallow, is that, you know, you're going to run out of an audience one day that really cares. So try to do whatever you can, and however much you can now, to, you know, leave your mark and leave an impression on the people that you care about. And that's all I wanted to say on that, really.
Solid. That's real solid. Thank you.